you go up the mountain, the summit? No.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just hanging out at base camp right now,
Yeah.
learning as much as I can.
Good, good. And you are, where are you with your, with decreasing your steroids?
I'm on only one 10 milligram this week. So started that yesterday.
And then you'll go to 5?
Yeah, then 5 and then 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Candy, how are you?
Can you see me?
I can't. Oh, hang on just one second, Candy.
Okay.
Ashley, I can hear you. I can't see you.
I just tried it from my phone. I can see and hear you, but
Awesome.
I guess just know that I'm here.
Okay. Well, at any time, if you have a question, just let us know.
Great.
But yeah, that's fine. There's somebody else on an iPhone. It doesn't say their name. At least it says your name.
Oh, it's Brittany.
Oh, hey, Brittany.
Brittany.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So, Candy, how are you?
Well, I have good news.
Good.
The pain has subsided. The horrible arthritic pain has subsided. Now I'm having more like flu-like muscle aches.
Okay.
My heart rate is out of control. It's like over 105.
Has that
Last
been
night I wore my Fitbit and it said I got I burnt 8 hours of fat and got an hour and a half sleep. So I'm really struggling with sleep.
So tell me about, have you had the tachycardia before?
No. Usually I can take a couple of deep breaths and lower my own heart rate with no problem, and just concentrate and make it happen. But I have no control over what this is doing.
When did that start?
Well, since I haven't really been wearing my Fitbit, I don't really know. The day last Sunday is when I woke up with no pain, and it was like doing a jig, and
You got excited, and then your heart rate went up. No, I'm just joking.
But I got a rib out of place trying to climb in and out of bed, and so there's extreme pressure on my lungs, and I'm hurting there too. So I've just been trying to not push it and trying to drink a lot of water and lay down as often as I can, and I just am so weak and so tired and just like bleh.
Are you using a CSAP? CSAP. Are you using a heating pad?
I heat up some socks and put them on I make these rice socks that you can throw in the microwave and heat up, and they slowly dissipate, and they do wonders. And I also have, I leave them in the freezer so they're cold to start with. And if I need it hot, I just heat it up. And it will help me relax, but I don't know what this is. I don't know.
Okay, where are you on the candicidal?
I'm still taking it.
Okay, are you just taking one pill 3 times a day or 2 times a day, or have you bumped it yet? Because it sounds like you're having some die-off, and with yeast, it is a neuroendotoxin, so it can create an excitatory effect. So depending on where you are, if you've bumped that recently, I want you to take it back down and then drink.
No, I'm still at 1 a day, or okay. 3 times a day, 1 pill.
Okay, when did you start your supplements?
August 12th.
On August 12th. Okay. So you're 2 weeks in. close to 2 weeks in?
Yep, 2 weeks in.
Okay. Then what I want you to do, there's nothing else that would be impacting the heart rate. So what I want you to do is I want you to start working on some deep breathing and relaxing. It'll help with that rib cage as well. Okay. If you need to, let me know, and I'll get you on the phone with Casey, and she can talk you through, like literally do a breathing exercise with you while you're on the phone, like a guided meditation, and then see how that influences your heart rate. So you let me know if you would like to do that.
That would be great. I would love to do that.
Okay, I will let her know, and so she'll be in contact with you, okay?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad the pain's gone. Yay! I can move. I can go up and down the stairs. I can't really close and open my hands, but I can tell I'm on my way. It's just a very strange journey. I feel like I have the flu right now, which is of course the die-off and all of that happening. So
yeah,
and it's gonna be hell.
It is. What I can tell her, Susan.
No, I did that right about the same time, 2 to 3 weeks, but it was a day or two after I bumped mine up for the first time, and I felt that bad for just a couple of days, and then once I took it back down, like Leslie told me, then I was, gradually in another day I was fine. However, I'm not without pain, Leslie. How come Candy? I don't get that. No, I'm changing. I can tell. Is it along this same line? Is it with all the supplements? Like what I just feel like my body is changing, because I'll even wake up at nighttime to go to the bathroom and I will be in pain. I'll be like, oh my gosh, like having, and then, I'll go back to sleep, and then I'll wake up in the morning and I'm kind of back to normal. But it seems like I'm having these little spells of just like, wow, where'd that come from? I don't, mine is all lower pain, lower leg and back and hips, but still.
Still there. Has it decreased at all? I mean, you are increasing activity levels. So that's the other thing that we're kind of working. It's a fine line, right? Because we do have to get you moving, which is going to cause a little more pain and
Right. It does.
So
I can see changes. I don't know that, and it has decreased, but it just doesn't stay. It just it's like I may have a day or two where I'm feeling really good, and then a couple of days I'm like, oh my gosh, if I do anything at all, then I can't. Then I have a hard time. So I can tell there's changes. I just not
as quick as you want them. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
That's kind of how it goes. I was just getting off the phone with another client who can't make these calls, and she said the same thing. So we've bumped her. She was kind of in meditation and doing very gentle yoga, but I told her, like, you're stuck. Like, you need to bump it. You've got to get to working now. You've got to start kind of pushing the strength training, and so we've done that. And what did it do? It elevated her pain. So I'm like, can you manage the pain? That's the next question that you ask is, are you capable of tolerating the pain level as we bump? And if not, then you need to back it back down. You need to allow an extra day of rest for someone like you, because you do have degenerative change in your joints, right? The damage is there.
Yes. Okay.
So it's going to be that balancing act for us of getting you moving, which is going to cause more pain. But then, as we continue to clear up the gut, we're going to see that get better, 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 better. Okay?
And I have another question is, when you're reintroducing foods, or if you just are well, let's see, how do I want to ask it? If you're introducing foods, like I did the cottage cheese, but is the stomach cramping and the stomach issue mostly what you're going to experience?
Not necessarily. You can experience what Candy's experiencing.
Okay.
Flu-like, what you experience, flu-like symptoms, brain fog, headache, anxiety.
Okay.
You know, it can really vary.
Okay.
Can really vary what symptoms you see. So that's where keeping track of it will be important, especially for you. What I would expect for you is going to be a change in your pain level.
Okay.
Because your mood's pretty stable. That's what I would expect to see from you, is to really track what your pain is doing in relationship to the new foods that you're introducing.
Okay. Yes. All right. And real quick, I didn't get to tell you all this last week because I went off, but I ordered my second order of all my supplements, and I did it by phone with their 800 number, and it was awesome. It was just no problem.
Everybody feel free to call them. I was telling who was it, Neha, this morning we had a call. She isn't on these calls either, but I was telling her I actually received a letter from the CEO of the company, and it said, "I hear you." Like, yep, it's still not fixed.
They apologized for the long wait because they said they were having some technical issues, and it was, I had to wait maybe about 10 minutes, but that's not unusual. So yeah,
it'll take you longer than that to try to order it right now through their website.
Quicker, because I just read my list and she just said, okay, you want 60 or not, and it was just that quick.
Good.
That was
awesome. That's what we should probably all just do, because right now it's just such a hassle. If anybody has any specific questions about that, just drop it in the chat, section on Healthy to me, if you're still any struggles that you're having there. But I've been on the phone with, I have a liaison that I work with directly, and he has been, he drinks the Zymogen Kool-Aid, but he's like, oh, it's going to be amazing once it's all better. But I'm like, but in the meantime, you guys really jumped the gun with this, because it's not. I mean, they don't even have certain things activated. So that's why when we're doing these searches and nothing's popping up, it's because it's not even been activated yet. So I'm like, what a pain it has been for all.
If I tried that would have frustrated me so bad. I would have just said, forget it. I'm either Dr. Leslie's going to order mine or I'm not going to take them.
Yep. It's ridiculous. And I mean, even like, so it's across the board. So I'm in many different functional medicine groups on Facebook, and we've all been talking about it as well. It's not just us, that this is across the board. It's a problem for everyone. So let's see, Ashley, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. I'm about 2 weeks into the elimination diet, and I just sent off my labs yesterday.
Good.
So I'm excited to start taking, the supplements. I started this morning with the Opti Cleanse. But yeah, I mean, I feel like energetically I feel good, but I have been a little like anxious in my head, I don't know. Maybe because I'm just eager to see what the results are going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a little bit of that. But overall, I feel like at least my energy level has been better than kind of ever before, you know? So
Good.
that's good for me. Yeah.
Very good. I'm pulling up your supplements now that you're taking. Let's see. Okay, and I put you on the OptiMag. So that'll start to help with kind of create that calmness about, yeah. So, you know, I think that you have some significant neurotransmitter issues. And again, and two, with the OptiCleanse GHI, it's going to be have some tyrosine and some tryptophan in there for you as well to help support the building blocks of those neurotransmitters.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, so you'll have to report back next week. It does take a little bit in order to, oh, that's NRF2, in order to really start to feel the effects of it. I will tell you, others can speak. Some will feel it quicker than others. For me, I felt it pretty quickly whenever I first started these supplements. Like usually, I think for me it was like 3 days in, I was like feeling significantly better. Candy, I was going to tell you, I've got another RA client, and she can't make these calls either. She's at work, but her symptoms kind of blew up on her as well with severe pain globally, but she actually had a virus that was contributing to a lot of her symptoms. So, but she started taking the supplements and let those kick in, and she feels a million times better now. So you're almost there. You're getting
Okay.
yeah. And Ashley, I think same for you. You know, I didn't expect to see a huge change in your symptoms with the elimination, just because you had been on such a strict and rigid diet for so long. So clearly it's not just a food influence for you. I think it's going to be a lot more in depth, which is what we're going to see with the testing. But you're on some pretty good supplements to help get you started in calming inflammation and oxidative stress until we can find out what's actually causing the inflammation and the oxidative stress. Does that make sense?
I see. Yes, exactly.
So
is there any particular supplement that you want me to take at a particular time, or with or without food? Does it matter? I know there's one that should be taken 30 minutes before I eat.
That's the only one that matters. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the rest is just kind of whatever.
Is whenever. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this will help at all, but I also started taking the OptiMag, and yeah, totally huge difference as far as what it does for your nerves. And definitely take it like right at bedtime, like maybe an hour or so. It helps me fall asleep. It is so, yeah, it's really calming, super calming. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely try to do that at bedtime. Yeah. Or else you'll get, I took it in the mornings and then I'm like so super tired all day long.
Are you? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. With the OptiMag, I would do one scoop, or depending on which one I have you on, but take that in the evening to help.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Super duper helps though. It's awesome.
Good. I love hearing that. That's awesome. All right. Any other comments before? So any suggestions? Is there a specific topic that y'all would like for me to coach on today?
I wouldn't know. You know what? Listening to you young ladies, you'll appreciate this. This is like when I first got married. I wasn't married I was going to get married, and I went to a marriage class at Bellarmine, and there was a couple there. I actually knew them who, anyway, they laughed and laughed and laughed and said, hey, how come we didn't have this at our fingertips before we got married? And they had already been married for quite a few years. So this is like, okay, how come I didn't have all this to go to when I was raising my children?
I know. But look at you, though. Even now, still.
I made it. Yes, I made
So
it.
many people. I hear people that that will say, you know, oh, well, this is just aging. This is just what aging looks like. But it's not. We should all be able to age. We have all of this at our fingertips now. We should all be able to get on this healthy healing path and keep moving in that trajectory. So it's the power of knowing and knowing how to kind of clear those pathways.
I do have another quick question. If on you, one of my new supplements was the OptiFiber Lean.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I seem to be having trouble with that. I actually have cut it back to 1 a day for the last 3 days until I could talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
What my stomach? What is the need for so much? I mean, that seems like a lot of fiber to me if you're adding fiber in the supplements.
Well, so
And could that be the cause of the stomach cramping?
So typically it doesn't. Let me pull up. I can't remember all of everybody's. I remember the gist of everybody's issues, but I think, are yeast overgrowth. So the reason that I would do that in your situation is as a binder for the neurotoxin. As we kill off the yeast, it binds to the neurotoxin, and it helps to eliminate and rid it out of the body.
Okay.
So
would it help if you told me to take 3 in the morning, and on the label it says you can take 1 with the meal. Would it help if I spaced it 3 times a day with meals rather than all 3 in the morning?
Maybe try it. How does it influence you if you only take 1 at a time?
The stomach ache went away.
Okay, if you only do 1?
Yes.
So let's do that.
I mean, I would start with the stomach ache within an hour after I took these.
After you took the OptiFiber Lean?
Yes.
And you weren't taking anything else with it? You just do OptiFiber Lean?
Right. But I would take it in the morning first thing. Sometimes I took it before I ate breakfast, and sometimes I waited till I ate. But I only did it for about 4 days because I just started these a week or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe I didn't give it a long enough time. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that it does is it helps to regulate blood sugar. So that's the other reason it kind of.
My blood sugars have been good. They've been down.
Good.
They used to be in the 120s, and now they're down in the teens, 112, 1.
Wonderful.
So,
that's awesome. Yeah, let's just try it. Then 1 pill 3 times a day.
Okay.
And see if you can get away. Just do it with your candicidal. So that way we're still getting the binder effect where it's binding to it as we're killing off the
all right. Thank you.
Candida.
Leslie, can I ask a labs question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we decided that I would do DNA right away and then not do the urine and poop test until I'm done with prednisone. But I have a question. I started reading about how I'm going to do labs, and I've only paid for 1 shipping. So.
No, it's okay. That's something new that they put in there. I'm like, okay, I pay a lot for that shipping. It's a big fee for the shipping.
Oh,
so don't you worry about it.
That's why I was afraid to do a second one, because
No, you won't pay them anything. I do want to tell everyone, so let me I need to put this video in our training section. Nordic is aware of the issue. So what has been happening when we called to schedule DHL? Katie, did this happen to you? When you called to schedule DHL and they asked for the Wayfair bill number?
Yes.
And you cannot give them that number.
Yeah.
It leads to a bad place. You just say, oh, I don't know what that is, but here I have the account number of the company. The shipping's already been paid for. Can I give you the account number? and that's for Nordic Labs. And then you have to guide the conversation to say it just like the script. So you say, when they ask you for something different that's not on that script, you go, oh, I don't have that, but here's the other information. Okay, so use your script when you're calling for pickup, and it's fine. They won't, you can.
Leslie.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead and continue, but after I'll tell you what happened with my experience.
No, that's okay. You go ahead. You tell us what happened, because I want to hear.
So I called on Friday to do a scheduled for Monday, and the lady told me, well, you have one just down the street, a DHL. She's like, so that way we don't have to schedule a time. Why don't you just take it in and have it shipped from, you know, the store or the place? So I thought, oh, that's even better, because I had to poop in the morning and I didn't want to be stressing out. So I said, okay, well, this works out. I'll just take it. And so the man gave me such a hard time, and he was saying that they don't receive these, like, the way bills already, I guess, like, they have to create a way bill. So all I told him, I just kept saying the script, you know, but it really set me up, I think, you know, to not have it picked up. And, you know, the lady on the phone, it sounded easy for me to say, okay, I'll just go down the street and drop it off when I'm ready. So he did take it. You know, he said this is the only time he was going to do it.
Oh my goodness.
That they don't receive any more way bills that are, I guess, already made and not being made at the system, in the system, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
So then he ended up calling me back a few hours later and said, I changed all of your way bills. Here are all of the new, like the new tracking numbers or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, he said, I just said, look, these are so important. They need to get there. He goes, they're all going to get there. I guarantee you. I had to create like another way bill, and here's the tracking number for all of them. So I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
so maybe note to self, let's all just call.
Yeah, so I pray, but I just said, oh my God, you know, I was so nervous about it. He was like, no, like everything's going to get to where it needs to be. And I was just like, oh my God, like I hope so. But it was awful. I mean, it was like 30 minutes and he kept saying he couldn't do it and it was hazardous material and he couldn't take it. And I said, you need to take it. Like, I need these shipments.
It's not hazard.
You need to do this. And I just kept repeating it. Like, I'm sorry, like, this is the form. You need to, you know, this is like, it wasn't a good experience, but ultimately.
That's awful. The only other client that I've ever had, she was in Mexico. She had a very similar experience trying to drop off her labs.
I'm on the border of Mexico, so I'm like, I think it's maybe, I don't know, because he was like really like not gonna have it, but I was also kind of like, I'm not gonna let down. Like, you need to take these packages, you know?
Yeah, right.
So he did budge, but I'm just, you know.
Yeah, that's a pain. So typically what I do is that I have them all lined up. I think, well, hopefully there won't be a next time for you, but just insist that they send a delivery person out to pick them up. And then I have everything stacked. I've never had a problem. I just hand everything. You keep out that white pro forma and the Wayfair bill. Nordic is aware because I had the same issue when I did some labs on my son and I did some retest labs on me, and sending it back, I had to call 3 different times and try to take them down that script. And the first person was not having it. The second person was not very smart. And then the third person worked like a charm, no problem whatsoever. So, and then when they come and pick it up, I have everything. I just hand it right to that delivery person, shut the door, and they're on their way. So it's pretty simple.
I got the feeling that they have, and here in Kentucky for me, they had to kind of get used to it. Like the first guy was young, but he was very pleasant and willing to help, and he figured it all out. And then when I called yesterday for a pickup on that repeat test I had to do, I did what you said. And both times I did it, but I just stayed with the script because she asked for the waybill numbers. And I actually gave it to her, and she said, well, I can't pull this up. And I said, well, you're not supposed to even have that number according to my information. So she kept on looking, and she said, well, I think you're right. And then she said, well, give me the account number. Anyway, it's like they have to kind of, it's like it's new to them, and they have to figure it out because they've never done it before is what I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre, but whenever I had the issues, I called Nordic and I said, this can't happen. I mean, I understand the process, and I had to call 3 times. Like, that's not an efficient process. So whatever system you have worked out with DHL, because I mean, I'm just one provider. They're a big old company. They've got a lot of power. I said, you all need to work this out with DHL to make for a more fluid process, because
well, I don't mean to get off on a tangent. I'll say it quick, but it's funny. When I called the first time it happened, and yesterday it happened, and I said to the guy, you have to know me, but I said, what the hell, I just called, which I did. And 3 minutes later he rang my doorbell, and I'm like, how do you all do that? I said, you're faster than EMS. If I'd called EMS, he just laughed because I was like finishing up my process.
Yeah.
And he wanted to come back, and I said, no, you got here, just hang on. I'll have it ready in a second. So he just laughed, and he said, okay, yes, ma'am. So
What
I think is so sad is that I had just such the easiest time being able to just take my boxes and all the papers, and I went into the store. It was a UPS store, but they can do DHL. And that's all that I did is handed it over, and I didn't even have to say anything. They just did it all, and it took them a few minutes, but then that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was even easier to me than calling, but not everybody, maybe has access to that with DHL, but that was so super easy. And I mean, when I made the phone call, it was just like a big headache of what I'm supposed to tell them and what they're asking for that I didn't have and all that other stuff. And then she said, well, you have a store that's a mile away from your home. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do that. And that's what I did. And I just took it right in. No questions, nothing. They just took it and did what they needed to do. And it was awesome.
That's good to know. Maybe we should just start looking you would have to call the UPS store and find out if they do DHL delivery and pickup. So, okay, well, let's talk about, I think all of us we talked about anxiety, looping thoughts, positive affirmations, things like that. Let's just talk a little bit about effective breathing techniques for calming our body, calming our mind, and kind of slowing. Candy, this will help to slow your heart rate down, is to, close your eyes fully and then just begin to breathe. And how I like to do this is I put one hand on my heart and then one hand on my stomach. And when you're breathing, if you're feeling this upper hand move, then you're activating your sympathetic nervous system. It should stay still, okay? So when you're breathing, you want to make sure that you're drawing the air all the way down to the diaphragm, and that lower hand is rising on the inhale and then releasing on the exhale. Okay, but no movement whatsoever under the upper hand. And that takes a little bit to get into. If you're and I have in home health, I've walked in on full-blown massive panic attacks. And that happens. So what happens is they're using their neck muscles, their accessory muscles up here, but that really activates your vagus nerve, your sympathetic nervous system. And so what I'd have to do oftentimes, if you're feeling, for those of you that do have panic attacks, or maybe you feel like it's all here and you can't get it down to your stomach, the best way to do that is to actually flip yourself over. So what I would have them do, if you can, get into like a child's pose, like a yoga child's pose. If not, the easiest way to access this is at your kitchen table, and take a pillow and place your pillow here and just lay over the top of this pillow. Okay, because what that does is now all of a sudden you have gravity that's going to help to expand, to draw the diaphragm down. So it will automatically start to pull that air all the way down, rather than what happens when we're in this like panicked sympathetic nervous system state is that we have what's called a paradoxical breathing pattern. It actually works in reverse. So it makes it really hard. So that's why I always kind of giggle in my head when these practitioners or providers will tell people with major anxiety issues to go and do some deep breathing work, because unfortunately it's really not that easy. So first of all, you've got to silence and calm your thoughts, and you're going to just kind of bring your thoughts inward and not ignore them. So your mind will be racing at first, and that's normal. But what you can do is, as your mind drifts away from the breath and thought, you just reconnect it back. And each time that you do that, they've found through research, that's like a little mini repetition for the brain. So it actually will, we have little telomeres at the end of our chromosomes, and they act like little shoestrings. They're like a little plastic cap on the end of the shoestring. That's our telomere. And as we age, that telomere begins to crack, and then the chromosome starts to unravel. But when we do those mini repetitions with the brain, and we bring ourselves back to a state of mindfulness and awareness, then that's your mini repetition. So when you drift away in thought, oftentimes people beat themselves up because they think, oh, that's not meditation. I can't calm my mind. It's constantly going a million different ways. Well, the important part is when you recognize that it's drifted and you pull it back. Okay? And so the more that you practice that one technique with your thoughts, then the longer you can hold it. So it's kind of like with Kegels too. You know, at first you can barely get it, and then you've completely lost it after a few seconds. But the more you practice, then you can sustain the hold for a little bit longer. But anyhow, same concept. So you actually, with research, what we found is that plastic cap on the end of the shoestring, the telomere, it not only, it will completely regenerate itself and draw that chromosome in held tightly. So that's when our chromosomes start to loosen, that's usually when we have higher levels of oxidative stress and inflammation, that's when the damage can actually occur to the DNA, because normally that DNA is hidden tight within the chromosome. Okay, so we're going to control our mind. And we're going to be.
Can I ask exactly how, I guess, is it a matter of actually like talking to yourself in your head to bring yourself back there? If you say, okay, now I'm recognizing that this is happening, come back, you know, ground yourself, or what is it that you actually have to tell yourself in order to get there?
So this varies. You've got to find what works for you. So are a few strategies that I'll use when I'm like teaching a yoga class or something. We will place like a leaf to the thought. So once you recognize that you've lost mindfulness, that you're in a thought, you recognize that thought, and then you place a leaf to it, and the wind blows it away. So just a little mental imagery technique. So you acknowledge, always have to acknowledge the thought. So many people say you block it and you sit there in silence, and that's meditation. Actually, that's a really great way to produce some deep-rooted blocks within yourself, okay? Where now you're not emotionally connecting to your thoughts, and there's a reason you're having that thought and you're bringing it back around. So you want to acknowledge the thought that you're having, and you can either put something to it, allow it to blow away, and now you're going to redirect. You're just bringing your attention right back to the breath. Okay? Now, with our breath, what we're trying, the goal is a 6-second inhale followed by a 6-second exhale. So if you have an active mind and you are squirrel, 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 you can't keep focus, then count your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you may not start at a 6, okay? First part, the most important part, is that you have the right breath pattern. That no movement is here, and you've got the expansion into your stomach. So the diaphragm is actually coming down with each inhale and back up with the exhale. Okay? So that's step number 1. That's the most important thing. And then as you get into that flow, then you can try to start taking the breath just a little deeper. Now, the number 1 mistake that people make is that they think that their job is to bring in a bunch of air, and they essentially, and then they hold it, and then they exhale. But that actually creates, it creates what's called a Valsalva maneuver. We can get that when we're trying to grunt and use the bathroom, but it will actually increase blood pressure and heart rate. So, so when we breathe, we're not forcing anything. We're not manipulating it. The only thing that we're doing is we're slowing the rate at which we draw the same amount of air in and out of the body. So you're just slowing your breath down. You're not trying to take this gigantically long breath. That can really drive anxiety. Okay? So for those of you that do struggle with panic attacks or anxiety, I want you to flip your world, kind of flip yourself upside down the next time that you are experiencing it. You know, head on your pillow, just kind of go into that breath. The other things that, you know, if I were working with you in person, that I would often do is I just gently place my hands on the back of their rib cage, and I just say, expand my hands. So you just want the back of your rib cage, like you're doing a back breath, the very bottom part of the rib cage to expand out to the side and then bring it back in. Out to the side and bring it back in. And that's literally what I will have people with severe breathing issues to find the appropriate breath that upregulates the vagus nerve. That's going to decrease heart rate, decrease blood pressure, Candy, so you can actually test that. Actually had a gentleman, his baseline heart rate was, I mean, it was crazy high. Like he was a walking stroke at any moment. And we would do meditation sessions, and we could, I mean, significantly reduce heart rate and blood pressure just after, 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing. So you don't have to become a Buddha or, spend hours doing this, but just slowing the breath down, and doing this a couple times throughout the day would greatly help all of us. Okay. Any questions about that?
What position should you be laying down in lotus or?
So what you can. Now you'll be going against gravity if you are lying in your back. If you're just lying on your back, I always say a comfortable supported position if you're doing that. Almost like I wish I could show you all. I don't think I can. I would take you into my center and show you my yoga couch. Let me see if I can set it up. This is my favorite. This is how we work on it at the center. So let me. So can you see my little yoga couch right there? Y'all probably can't see it.
Yes.
So this is what I do. Can y'all see that? So I just take some blankets and I create a yoga couch. So my head goes here, my rib cage, and then my low back.
Okay.
But you can do that with pillows as well. So
Wait,
like
but are you facing up or down?
on your back,
On your
in
back.
that
Got it.
position.
Okay. Got it.
Now, you can also, so like, especially if you're in a panic attack, like full blown, then what you would do instead of coming to that position, because that can be a little vulnerable. For any of us that have had any type of trauma or anything, when you're lying like this, you're opening your front body. It's a very vulnerable position for many people. So in that case, you're going to want to flip over. So like a child's pose or on your kitchen table, head down, you're using gravity to help draw the diaphragm downward. So it makes it easier. It's going to be easier to find the appropriate breath in a child's pose or folded over your kitchen table. Does that make sense?
Yes, that helps.
Uh-huh. So anyhow, I encourage all of you to try. Sometimes I'm really good about waking up early and doing some deep breathing. I always feel so much better if I do it first thing in the morning, like while I'm enjoying a cup of tea. But I'll be honest, with a busy life, kids, you never know when the kids are going to beat you up. Not literally beat me up. Wake up before me, so then it's like game on. So I try to just incorporate this in as I can. If I stop at a stoplight, I do some deep breathing. You know what I'm saying? I don't with all of these interventions and techniques. I have another client who has kind of been struggling with feeling frozen because she got overwhelmed and feeling really frozen with everything, and almost like this resistance toward like the elimination diet, exercise, meditation. She knows she needs to do it, but she kind of met this resistance. And so we really simplified everything for her. And the one thing that I told her is she's beating herself up when she's not fully successful with every single step of the way. So she just throws in the towel. Okay, and then that cycle repeats itself. And so it's just really important that we all recognize that we're human beings and that we have to give ourselves a little grace, okay? And you just weave it in as you can. So 5-minute breathing breaks when you stop at a red light, or 5-minute breathing breaks right before, if you're struggling with digestion issues, there's not a better thing that you can do. Sit down. This is why people pray and bless their meals. So, praying is a form of meditation. So spending that time to really pray and to slow the body down, you're getting it into that parasympathetic nervous system, rest, relaxation, digestion, absorption mode. All right, so just working it in the best that we can. The other thing that is good to do with, if you're not sensitive to smells, even if you are sensitive to smells, I can usually find like an essential oil for pretty much everyone, whatever your go-to essential oil is. So really using these strategies. So wild orange is one of the most affordable essential oils that's on the market. You can get a very good high quality for $10, everybody, and that'll last you a while. It's very soothing on the nervous system, will really calm you down. Lavender, of course, will give you kind of a calm but a sedative effect. But the important thing to know about about lavender is it does have estrogenic properties, meaning that if you're already estrogen dominant, this is not one that you want to use. Same for melaleuca. Melaleuca is, I use melaleuca for different purposes. I usually use it more for viral support needs, but that's tea tree oil, but it also has estrogenic effects to it. So that is just something, unless you've had your Dutch Plus already read, and we know that you're not pushing down that unhealthy estrogen pathway or you're not estrogen dominant, then those will be no problem for you. But that's just the only thing that I like to just say, because I do have some people in the group that are, until we can get their inflammation calmed down, they're pushing through the pathway that really sets them up for estrogen dominant cancers. So the last thing I want them to do is go rubbing a bunch of essential oils that are up in their estrogen content.
So I just had, I watched that video on mindset, and I have a saying I've been telling myself, and every time I say it, I have to giggle. It's, no one ever died from eating vegetables.
That's right. So true.
So I say it to myself over and over again. You're going to get through this. So,
are you struggling with the meal plan?
I'm still not having a lot of motion with my hands. They're still pretty no grip yet.
Susan,
sore. But I am working on the food. I just don't have any appetite. Oh, I have to force myself. And the OptiCleanse with the pea, I just hate peas.
What?
I do.
That is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I don't even know if you and I can be friends.
All I taste is peas all day, and I don't.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like,
I
okay.
love that stuff. Does anybody else have that experience? I love that. I love OptiCleanse.
So anyways, it's like, you can do it. It's just a vegetable.
Yeah. Why don't you try to switch the flavor then? My son hates it too. I just can't. But I still make him drink it every single morning. So you're not getting out of it.
Yeah.
All I taste with mine is the chocolate.
Oh, try the chocolate candy.
The chocolate's fantastic.
Okay.
It hides everything. Like I said, I used that in my breakfast, the kale banana smoothie thing.
Right.
That's what I taste is chocolate and banana, and I love it. And I hate kale. Kale is like so bitter to me. But I have almost every single morning I have that shake, and it's just chocolate and banana.
Well, I'm going to have to call them and order that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I love that one.
Well, Candy, if you can, just push through. Hang on. If you've got enough to last, just keep doing that one, because I got your CSAP in. I'm just waiting for your other labs. So why don't you wait, just in case I have to have you order some other things.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I'll let you know as soon as I have more info. But if you're running low, you let me know, okay?
No, I bought 2 of them.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're just gonna have to toughen up. OptiCleanse DHI never killed anybody.
Right.
Nor did peas. But anyhow, Susan was going to share with you in the beginning. Last time she couldn't talk because of her volume, but she was going to tell you that she used, what soup was it, Susan?
Well, a few weeks ago, I think it was Katie, or maybe it might know. Was it you, Katie, or was it Cameron that shared about the vegetable soup?
Oh, I'm the one with, yeah, I make that all the time.
Yeah. And I did find a bag of the organic vegetables. I believe I found it at my grocery didn't have it, but I found it at Trader Joe's. It was a small bag. And I made my vegetable soup with tomato base. What do you use in your base?
I do have, well, I mean, I just use regular, broth, a bone broth, but I do throw tomatoes in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get like 3 different bags of organic. There's green beans, there's peas, and there's carrots.
Yeah.
So I'll throw the 3 bags inside of there. Sometimes I use potatoes.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
And then I love cabbage in mine.
That'd be good.
But Candy, that was really a help, because at the point that the girls shared that, I was just tired of the vegetables. I'm not a big vegetable eater. I like vegetables, most of them, and by the way, on your side, I don't like peas either. But I do like peas. I do like peas in a cold salad, in a cold lettuce salad.
Oh, that's
I
so
use
good.
frozen peas, and I just do lettuce and water chestnuts and the peas and a little bit of dressing. I do that sometimes. But anyway, the vegetable soup really did help. So
Okay.
I think that would be a good option for you too, Candy, so that way you don't have to do all the chopping. You can make a great big huge thing. It's going to last you all week. Like I see Katie eating on hers like multiple, she might have it for dinner one night and then a lunch the next day. And so just kind of spacing it out like that. But that way you're not constantly, like with your hands hurting so bad, you're not, that would be a way. I think the more big batch cooking that you can do, the better you're gonna.
Yeah, you can also end up freezing all of that too without a problem. So
Right.
if you're sick of eating it, just toss it in the freezer and save it for the next week or whatever.
Right, right. Okay, that's on my list.
Awesome.
I did have the kale, or the mango and strawberry shake, and I really liked it, except it tasted like peas.
You need to get the chocolate for sure.
Yeah.
It does not taste like peas.
I've never tried the chocolate. I am so, I don't even need to I could definitely move to a more affordable protein powder, but I love the OptiCleanse GHI so much. And I'm like,
it's got everything.
Yeah.
Say that again. It has everything.
It's got everything.
Everything. And so I'm just like, well, I can, justify one bad decision because I'm drinking OptiCleanse GHI all week. That's my balance. All right, ladies, it was a great call. And Brittany, she's on the iPhone, so you guys can't see her, but she's new to the group. So welcome, Brittany, to your first call. And we look forward. You'll have questions by next week, so we'll get to your questions then. All right. You all have a great.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Y'all know, everybody knows how to get in contact with me if you need anything in between our calls, right? Just
Right.
shoot it in the chat.
How do you want for me to make the call with you? Do you want me to schedule a call or something?
Yeah, I'll shoot you some times in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
Let's do that. I don't want you to have to. We'll get you feeling better.
I'd love that. I was doing really awesome. I was really doing awesome, and then I started the detox, and it was like crap. Yeah.
Ashley, what were you saying?
Sorry. Also, how often do we normally do I normally have an appointment with you? Like, is it spaced out or?
So yes. So your next appointment with me will be as soon as we receive in 2 to 3 weeks. So as soon as we get your labs back. Now,
Right.
you will be closer to reintroducing foods at the 23-day mark. And so that's when we'll get you back on the phone with Casey so you can talk to her to establish a plan with reintroducing your foods. Like, what's your strategy going to be on that? So that way she can help coach you around that. And then you and I will follow up our call as soon as we get those labs.
Okay, sounds great.
And then if a specific lab, like one thing that I will do is if a specific lab, like if something comes back, with one of my clients, we were still waiting for the DNA test. I don't know why it's taken so long. But anyhow, all of her other labs came back, and it was some pretty severe, significant problems. And so I went ahead, and she was going to have to switch up her supplements, or mainly switch up her protein powder and add a few more that she was pretty depleted in. So I went ahead and had that call with her. So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
So as long as I have the organics back, I can't really do much without the organics, to be honest. So even if I have the CSAP.
Okay.
All right. All right.
You are appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks.
Love all of you all so
Have a good
much.
day.
Bye.
You all too.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.